Show me the crypto. Show me the crypto. Show me the crypto.
In a world on the brink of disruption, two men will bring you clarity by interviewing some of the most intelligent and influential names in the blockchain world. Welcome to Show Me the Crypto with your hosts, Wade Patterson and Ulf Lonergan.
Well, hi there, and welcome to Show Me the Crypto. My name's Wade Patterson.
And I'm Ulf Lonergan.
We're a couple of friends from Canada who love learning about cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology, and we're happy that you're along for the ride. Whether you're a crypto virgin or you know your way around the block, we hope our interviews with some of the most intelligent and influential people in the blockchain space help bring you value. And on this episode, we're joined by Wendy, aka Crypto Wendy O. Wendy first heard about Bitcoin in 2012 when a family member who was living with her and her husband at the time asked to borrow a credit card to buy Bitcoin. Wendy said no. For context, at the time, the price of one Bitcoin would have likely been less than $10. Fast forward to late 2017, Wendy had her aha moment, and she began to understand the potential of blockchain technology. Since then, she has established herself as a savvy trader, a crypto YouTuber, and founder of Beyond Associates, which aims to assist blockchain companies with their marketing efforts. Wendy, welcome to Show Me the Crypto.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. You guys are super, super professional. I'm more laid back on my channel. I'm just like, come on, let's do this, blah, blah, blah. But thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
One thing I find incredibly admirable is that, crypto for a lot of people, myself included, and I think Wade was just a little earlier, but is coming in when it's already this big hype machine. So I entered near the end of 2017 as things were peaking in the last kind of major cycle. And as I understand it, so did you. So, the fact that you came in then right as it was peaking and then hung in and started basically a career in crypto as we entered this incredibly long, strenuous bear market as everything fell from these incredible highs. That's just crazy and admirable. And I'm wondering if you could tell me a bit about, what it was like to go through that and hang on and get through while going through this bear market.
Well, thanks for saying that. I appreciate it. And I had it wasn't my intention to be full-time crypto. I just thought, okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish school. I'll work in business and I will go ahead and trade on the side because I taught myself how to trade. But it ended up not working out that way because I got so many different opportunities to work in the space. And then I saw all these niches that needed help. And I'm like, I have to do something. That's kind of like the person that I am, because before I got into crypto, I worked in infectious disease, HIV, AIDS for 7 years. And my career was helping people. And I used to the company I worked for was so crazy. They were the largest HIV AIDS company in the world. And it was just a very, very amazing experience. But part of my job was problem solving and figuring these really, really complex healthcare systems out and providing my patients with quality care, because the HIV AIDS community is very, very niche. When people hear about it, they think of a certain demographic, but that's not true because it encompasses everybody. And it's a little bit different than what we're seeing with stupid 19 and whatnot, because anybody can essentially get it. And, even though there's a stigma against it. So I've had to learn to problem solve. And that's what I kind of pulled that into crypto with me.
How did you educate yourself on technical analysis and figuring that side of things out?
So what I did, I'm a self-starter. If there's something that I want to do, I'll do it. There's some times where I get a little bit nervous and I feel like I don't believe in myself, but I was like, I literally have to do something with myself. I thought this was so cool. And I was at a very entrepreneurial time in my life. I was in the process of quitting my job. I was there at the company for 10 years. And I had a family friend, and he saw that I was into crypto. So he messaged me. And so I would just shoot him and ask him questions, and he would give me resources and different things to learn. But I saw, when I first got onto crypto Twitter, I saw all these dudes charting, and I'm like, if they can do it, I can do it. Because I was in school, I wanted to become a pharmacist. And if you want to become a pharmacist or work in healthcare, you have to have a strong math background, because that's how you get into schools in the United States. So I was like, I can do this. So then I taught myself how to trade. I started doing well. And it just really, the thing with trading is a lot of women get intimidated by it because like, oh, I don't want to do this. I can't make money, but you actually can. And it's a great side hustle for moms, like stay-at-home moms. And it's literally just Investopedia is free and Baby Pips is free. And you can go ahead and Google stuff, like Google all these different things, watch videos, watch explainers, and then take 10 minutes out of your day instead of watching Netflix. Go ahead and chart a coin, like open a free TradingView account, get on CoinTrader Pro, and check your work against other people's work. And it's about repetition. And I noticed that it was about repetition because when I was in school, like, because I wanted to become a pharmacist, which I ended up not doing, but it was the same thing with solving calculus equations and solving chemistry equations and geometry. It's like doing the same thing over and over and over again.
That's interesting. For technical analysis, as far as I understand it, it's a big world, right? There's lots of different types of technical analysis. Is there sort of an area or areas of technical analysis that you consider yourself more of a specialist in? And if you could maybe explain those for people who don't know what they are.
Yeah, so I am still learning. And the thing with technical analysis, the thing with trading, the thing with charting, the thing with investing, there's no way that was 100%. It's basically you're able to form these opinions using math because all these indicators, all these methods are math backed. And you form these opinions and then you decide when you want to enter. Plus there's trading psychology, there's emotions, there's all these different things. And I started off with using like a lot of oscillators and using Bollinger Bands and yada, yada. But then I started kind of taking, paying attention to naked charts and EMA. And sometimes I'll still throw the MACD on there, but it kind of depends what I'm charting too, because any type of asset you chart, it's got its own pattern. So it really depends what it is you're looking at, the time frame you're looking at, what you want to get out of it. I was like kind of day trading in the beginning, but now I'm more of like a swing trader investor because I've got so much stuff going on and that just fits my schedule a lot better.
And what does that mean for those who don't know, like being a swing trader versus a day trader?
So day trader is when you're like scalping and when you're in and out of multiple trades per day. It really depends. Like you can be a day trader and do like 1 or 2 trades per day, but most people want to scalp because it's fun, because it's volatile. But as a swing trader, you can enter into position and hold on to it for a year, hold on to it for 3 months, a week, whatever it is, and kind of vibe with that and kind of go with the flow. Like for example, I was in a Dogecoin trade. Maybe some people would consider it as investment. I don't know. But I got in the end of October of 2019 and I bought anywhere between, I think it was like 20 and 30 sats. And I was able to, I actually closed part of it last night. I was able to pull my investment out. I think I sold it 65, 100 and 127. And I was able to make 5 figures with that particular trade. Wow. So it was like a year and a couple months. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's like a swing trader or investment, but it's more like hodling. So those are the types of trades that I like. And I like to get into DeFi. I like to buy DeFi stuff. I'll hold on to it for a little bit. Once I start to see it going up, I'll just start taking profits off the top. When the dips happen, I'll like buy back in and I'll just continue to flip it.
At the time of recording this conversation, it's been a crazy week. I mean, everything happening with GameStop and now Dogecoin in the last 48 hours, just absolutely skyrocketing. You sold at a good time, I would think, last night as it was going pretty high there. But what is your opinion on that? Because I mean, technical analysis, there's these things that happen that just seem to surpass the rules or not abide by the rules, I guess. But, when you see stories like this, what are your thoughts?
So for Dogecoin, I actually did use technical analysis, and that's how I was able to get my targets for it. Like, obviously, it would have been nice if I would have sold at like the top at like 225, like 225 Satoshis, but that wasn't the case. I didn't do that. I had a trading plan. I went ahead and took profit at the levels that made sense for me. And either way, it was still a $10,000 trade, which is awesome. But what you can do, and the importance of reading charts is you get a particular project. Doge is a cyclical coin. And you zoom out, you look at the monthly, you look at the weekly, and you can see those massive pumps and those massive dumps. And that's what I did. And that's what, most of these traders are doing. It's pretty easy to see. So you are using technical analysis, but you're using very basic technical analysis like support and resistance. I literally I set my buys in a range. Like if you zoom out, you can see the range that I went ahead and bought in at. And then I set my sells at, historical resistances. And like, obviously we surpassed, which is fine, but I did what was right for me. And I have, like, when I'm trading, I have a trading plan and I stick to my plan, but I did use technical analysis to trade that. Yes, you're right that sometimes fundamental and technical analysis can get thrown out the window, but really at the end of the day, do what works for you. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's awesome. And just for somebody who's maybe not super deep into that, brand new, coming into crypto during this bull run, what is some advice? Because you mentioned some good things there, having a trading plan and that kind of thing. But what are some good pieces of advice for someone who's getting in at this euphoria stage?
So don't listen to what anybody says online. Don't listen to anybody's targets. A lot of these people are not what they say they are. A lot of these people are claiming they're making all this type of money. Do what works for you and your family. Do what makes sense for you. If you want to invest in Dogecoin, do it, but understand the risks. So kind of block out the noise, have a trading journal, have an investing journal, and kind of stick to your plan and understand that the risk in crypto it's a big, big risk. Like I can't tell you how many times I've been rug pulled or I've gotten stopped out of a trade and lost my ass, or like different projects have gone to zero. There's all different types of crazy things that can happen. But just as long as you you understand the risks and you pay attention and you kind of filter out that noise, you're going to be fine. Especially right now, everybody's a freaking genius in a bull market. Like anybody can tweet about like, oh my God, I was in Aave, or I was in Link, or I was in X, Y, and Z, and it's going to freaking pump and you're going to make money no matter what. Like my Doge trade, it wasn't that I was like, I'm super good at technical analysis. It's like, I knew that was going to happen. I knew it was going to pump again. Like it was, like it's a cyclical coin. That's what it does. So everybody's a genius. Everybody is a savant. But when the bear market hits, that's when the real traders are made, or the real investors are made, because you have to figure out how to make money when price is going down.
Yeah, absolutely. I shared on our Twitter, I thought it was super interesting to look at Dogecoin specifically yesterday, and just look at its gains over the last year, and to see that a coin that's essentially a meme coin has like 4x Bitcoin's gains in the last year, which is, I just think that in itself is so interesting and maybe worrisome for newbies who come into this industry and see a coin that can just shoot up like that with maybe not a whole lot of fundamentals behind it.
So this is the thing. That's part of crypto. There's a lot of meme coins. There's a lot of complete garbage projects that will pump. Bitcoin is queen. It'll always be queen. A lot of people don't understand that, but unfortunately, you have to lose your ass. You have to get wrecked to understand that these altcoins, they're great, but they go up and they go down. A lot of them are not going to sustain value. Yes, there will be a couple, like maybe Ethereum, that could sustain value, but realistically, at the end of the day, they're not going to. And that's why it's so important to take profit. And that's why I'm not mad at myself. I took profit at 65 Satoshis for Dogecoin when it ran up to, I think like 225 was the high. Like someone was like, people on TikTok, they're trolling me. They're like, you're stupid. You took profit too early. You didn't hold. But it's like, I made 5 figures. So why, like I stuck to my trading plan. I did okay. At the end of the day, money is money. And I don't want to miss out on that fiat, on that, unfortunately I do need fiat because I do have to pay bills. But at the end of the day, like I stuck to my trading plan. I did what the right thing to do was.
Coming into this bull run, I know we're on the early stages now, or at least that's kind of the anticipation. What are some projects that have your attention, or some coins that you're going to keep an eye on, or that you have big hopes for this time around?
So I have my portfolio. I had somebody on my show earlier. They're like, Wendy, how many altcoins do you have? And I was like, probably about 100, like a lot of different ones. And this is not financial advice, guys. Like I still got my Dogecoin position. I actually have my take profit at 300 to 400 Satoshis. If that happens, I will have another 5-figure trade. I'm very, very excited for. But I like Aave. I like Polkadot. Anything on the Polkadot ecosystem, I'm totally here for. I like Chainlink. I got into Chainlink a little bit earlier. I know Tezos, a lot of people are excited about it. I have a bag of that. I'm not super excited about it anymore. I like YFDAI. I like Ferrum. There's some other like smaller DeFi projects that I'm into that I won't name because they are on the smaller side and they're more risky. But there's just a lot of potential in DeFi to make money. There's a lot of potential to lose your ass. And that's why I'm very avid when I talk to my audience and I tell them how I do this stuff. What I do is I will buy into DeFi. I will buy into DeFi. I will create a moon bag. And what a moon bag is when you go ahead, you purchase a coin and you trade it like a savage. You trade it, you take your initial profit out, your initial investment out. So the coins that you have, you own free and clear. So if this thing goes to zero, let it go to zero. Or if you want to stake it, stake it. But at least you're using something. You still have skin in the game, but it's not like a whole lot of skin in the game because you've already taken your profit out. And then that moon bag, you can go ahead and do whatever you want with it.
You mentioned you're into Polkadot projects, basically anything in the Polkadot ecosystem. Are you familiar with Polka Starter, and are you at all, do you hold the Pulse token?
I missed out on that. And I know I'm watching the Pulse token price. I'm like, I just need to buy this because it's probably going to end up doing well. But I missed out on it. And I have a hard time buying back in and stuff after it's already pumped because my brain is so programmed to chase the red candles. So that's a little bit hard for me. But I do have my eye on it. I am watching. And I do have it set up to where I'm making reoccurring buys on Polkadot every week.
Well, you know what? Don't worry about it, because I want to express that even if you hold the Pulse token, I mean, it's a good token in itself. It's got good tokenomics. It's growing in price. But, the opportunity there is to then get in at those early stage projects pre-sale. But it's such a difficult process, right? You got to go follow each individual project. You got to go through a whitelisting process. Then you got to wait for the day where they're going to go on sale. And you got to oftentimes get, picked within the lottery. And so, even holding the token, I don't know, it just, it's not as easy as it sounds still to just get in early.
Token sales are so hard. I've participated in a few of them. And if you don't time them correctly, you will lose. And it's hard for me because I've got the business, I've got the channel, I've got the TikTok, I've got my 4-year-old daughter who's at home with me. So it's like, everyone's like, oh my God, when did you get on this token sale? I'm like, no. So it's like maybe like 1 out of every 20 token sales I'm able to get in on, just because I've got so much stuff going on. Yeah. So I'm fine getting stuff after it dumps, and like when Bitcoin's crashing or Ethereum's crashing and I can get a good price on it, I'm happy with buying it and then just kind of taking my profit and doing my thing.
Yeah. Speaking of all those things, I mean, how do you do that all? I mean, being a mom's a full-time job, and then you've got all of these other things and so much content and good quality content that you're putting out. How do you do it?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm a very busy person. I have to stay busy. And like, I love my daughter. I love being with her. And it's so much fun because I get to work from home, and like, she'll either be like, she's like, Mom, can I go do this? I'm like, sure. So she'll like go do outside, and I can see her because the wind, like the backyard is it's like super small, and I can see her. She's got her trampoline, and then she'll be like in her room or in like doing whatever. So I can hear her the whole time. And like, I get up like every 20 minutes, like to check on her, see what's going on. So it's hard, but at the same time, like I would have to work anyways. So it's either I'm here making content like on Twitter or on the internet, just like trolling people, having a good time, like talking to people globally, or I'm gone from my daughter for like 14 hours a day. Because when I had the job in healthcare, I used to work 4 10-hour shifts, and my shift would be from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. at night. And my commute would be 3-hour round trip, and I would have to, it was 2 hours in the morning and an hour and a half or an hour at night. So me and the baby would wake up at like 5 a.m. and I'd have to get my life together. I'd have to nurse her, do all the stuff, pump, do all the things I had to do, and then get to like take her to my mom's and then go to work. And it was an absolute nightmare. So it's like either I get to work from home and I grind at home, or I'm at a 9-to-5 job making like $50,000 a year, or I can be at home with my baby and make like a lot more.
Well, and beyond that as well, you're such a good networker. Like that's one thing that's been really adamant is how involved you've been. And so this is kind of a 2-part question. First off, what value do you get out of that? So attending these conferences and putting in, because it's a lot of work to organize these networking events and get everything orchestrated. So what's the benefit from your perspective? But second, in a year like 2020, when a lot of events have been canceled or shifted to virtual, how has that affected you not being able to see people in person and network that way?
Well, I worked so hard when I first started. I've done over 4 dozen events. All of them have been free. A lot of them have not been sponsored. So it's me taking the time out of my life away from my family to go ahead and put this stuff on. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't understand that it's, it could be kind of complicated and it's kind of hard. So networking is amazing. And I promised myself when I first dove down this crypto rabbit hole, like I'm going to meet people. I'm going to succeed at this because I'm just going to go out there. I'm going to meet people. I'm going to get rejected. Everything is going to be okay. And that's what I did. And it worked. And people really appreciated the fact that I would host meetups because I care about people. And one of the things is that when I worked in healthcare, I was able to really, really service a community and provide them with love and with support, and they knew that I was going to be there. So when I left my job, like I had 200 to 300 patients that I worked with on a monthly basis. I knew their first name, I knew their last name, I knew their pet's name, I knew if they had kids, I knew their exes, I knew their personal business, I knew if they had addiction, I knew their medication regimen. I was so close with all my patients, and I stopped doing that. And I needed to kind of fill that void. And because I like helping people, I like being around people. Like, even if somebody hates me or I hate them, like if you come to me like, hey, Wendy, and you shake my hand, like it's all good. Like we're good. So that's how I filled that void, was by doing the meetups and stuff and by hanging out with people. And, 2020 was hard because we shut a lot of stuff down, but at the same time, it allowed me to grow as a content creator and to continue to provide provide value and worth to people. I make like 8 to 10 videos on TikTok a day. I've got the daily show. Sometimes I release 2 videos on YouTube. It really kind of depends. So I'm able to provide value there as well.
Ulf, did you realize that our audience has either been watching or listening to this episode for more than 20 minutes?
20 minutes? No way. They should probably subscribe.
Yeah, they should subscribe and like and comment and turn on that notification bell. All right, back to the episode.
You mentioned how often you use TikTok, all these different social channels. What is that like, and how does that translate to you? Being that this is a part of your job, how does that translate to income? A lot of the reason I ask is because we've had the opportunity to interview a number of content creators on our show so far, and I just find it really interesting myself, especially 2 content creators who are new to the game. Looking at how we can turn this into a career and thinking about our audience and those listeners who maybe are thinking the same.
So I hustle sponsorships. I'm very avid. I've been very open to the community. Like I trade, so I get income from that. I have passive income that I get from from ref links and different things like that. But I hustle sponsorships. And the reason why I do that is because I deserve to be compensated for my time. I built up a following. I built up an audience. And if you want into my network, you have to pay me for it for the most part if you're a company. And I mean, I'm very open. I disclose everything. I disclose the nature, the scope, the amount that I'm being paid. I think I'm the only influencer that does that. And so most of it is like sponsors, it's a decent amount of sponsorships, but I do also a lot of work in the back end too, where I have consistent money with that. I do like influencer marketing for companies. I do brand recognition. I do brand building. I do business development and consulting. I do those types of things as well too. So that does help with income, but sponsorships are a decent amount of what I bring in. And then the trading and, the events were okay, but they're not really around anymore, but it's a lot of the back end stuff. So it's all that stuff combined. And like my audience knows that I do sponsored content, so they're not mad and they're not angry about it. Right. But I know a lot of other influencers are kind of weary about disclosing, but I disclose and I have no issue with it.
And when conferences were happening on a regular basis, what was the best one? Like, what was your favorite crypto conference to attend?
Which was my favorite one to attend? I think the funnest event that I had was it wasn't a conference. It was like a very small thing. The funnest event I had was in San Francisco. Someone from the Tron team had reached out because there was supposed to be the Warren Buffet lunch, right, and that got canceled. So someone reached out, and it was like me and a bunch of other YouTube content creators that I knew like personally. So we all just got to hang out and like just vibe and chill together. So that was like a really, really fun thing. And then what other? Consensus was fun. That was a lot of fun. And what else? All the events are fun. And then of course, like all the events in my hometown, LA, because LA is my city. Like this is my stomping grounds. This is where I was born and bred. So any events that I do in LA, like people know that I'm going to come and it's just going to be a fun time.
Do you have any horror stories or any times where things really didn't go according to plan at one of your events?
Not really, because everything, the events are actually, no, there was a conference, there was a conference in LA, and I had to host an event for a client, and I was sick. I was so sick. I was at CIS. I had a big panel I had to moderate. I just was not feeling well. I was not feeling well. I was not feeling good. So I was just not well. And I think that was like the worst event, but all the other events have been amazing. I've always met amazing people. A lot of people in crypto are just super, super cool. So I think that was the worst one when I was like feeling sick. I just wanted to go home, and my house was like couple miles away, and I just wanted to go, but I couldn't because I had clients,
Yeah.
When I was doing a little bit of research for this conversation, I came across, I thought it was so cool, your collaboration with Hotep Jesus and the Love and Marriage series. So I guess first off, maybe for the audience who doesn't know who Hotep Jesus is, if you can just kind of explain that side of things. But how did that collaboration start, and how did you decide to start putting out this content?
Okay, so Hotep, my husband, he was like, hey, this guy, he was on Joe Rogan. He's into Bitcoin. He's into crypto. Da, da. I was like, this is dope. I'm going to follow him. I started following him. I was like, this guy's content is amazing because he says what's on his mind. And not only does he say what's on his mind, he provides very well-spoken arguments and challenges people to think. And I'm like, I like this because that's the type of person I am. And it just was really, really cool. So then he started following me. And then like out of nowhere, it was like right when Stupid 19 started happening. But also too, I got to plug Hotep. Hotep does a show every Thursday night with Uncle Hotep, and they talk all different kinds of fun stuff. He is a founder of 3 startups. One of them is called Coinbits, and you can go ahead and buy in dollar cost average on that. So make sure you guys check that out. Cool. He's just like if you want to know learn about entrepreneurship, how to blog, how to make money, how to monetize, Hotep is amazing. So anyways, he had posted a tweet like, is there a female that wants to talk about love and marriage or marriages or relationships? I was like, me. And so he's like, let's do this, blah, blah. So we did it. We did like a show. He's like, this is dope. Let's keep doing it. So we just kept doing it. And like, we do it every Wednesday night. We go live at 7 p.m. PST, and we talk about love and marriage. We get heavy on those politics. We talk with sometimes entrepreneurs, like, we had Chef Gruel on, who's been fighting in California for equality for restaurant owners. I had Mark Moss on. I had Peter on. He is a founder of Morecoin. He also dated Hannah Nicole Smith. He was on the show. I had John McAfee and Janice McAfee on. And we kind of just chop it up and talk about love and marriage. And it's such a nice segue outside of crypto because I love crypto, but some of the people are just absolutely ridiculous. And a lot of people, they claim that they're for X, Y, and Z, but they're really not. And I don't like hypocrites. Like if you to me, it's like, come correct. Like if you claim that you're about this, then be about it. Like I see a lot of, and I'm going to put some heat up here right now. I see a lot of Bitcoiners out there that are talking about like, Bitcoin is this, Bitcoin fixes this. But in reality, what are you doing? And then they'll go ahead and they'll talk mess about altcoiners. People like myself, but it's like, Bitcoiners, what are you doing to educate the community? Like, what are you doing to go out there and get people excited about Bitcoin? Me, myself, I've done over 4 dozen events. I talk to people in my community. I just moved out of a very bad neighborhood that I lived in for 5 years. I talk to people about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I have the boxing gym that I go to. I talk to the kids there about it. I gift them Bitcoin. So it's like, don't come for me if you're going to, not be doing anything yourself like that. And even like other people as well. It's like the same thing. It's like, don't come for me. Don't get mad at me when you're really not doing anything. Put your money where your mouth is and give to people, help them understand.
In one of those episodes, there was a line you had that I thought was super interesting. And basically you were talking to Hotep about a lot of the bullshit that you've had to deal with, and specifically you putting out content and then the haters. I think, what's the term, incel? I think you used to describe them. But can you just describe like what was that, in terms of some of the hate that you were getting, and why was that coming your way?
So people in crypto don't like sponsored content because they think it's scammy and whatnot. But it's like, me personally, like every industry does sponsored content. I don't know what industry does not do sponsored content. People are always paying other people to talk about their project. And just because somebody's paying me to talk about their project doesn't mean that I'm like, oh my God, you need to buy this. The thing about my content is I will never tell you to go buy this. The only thing I will tell you to buy is Bitcoin. That is it. I'm actually like, I got so much shit on TikTok. Like you can go to my videos. I was talking about Dogecoin correcting and telling people it's not going to hit $1. And like, I can have literally 1 million followers if I fed into all that stuff. It's like, oh my God, we're going to hit $1. I don't make content like that. I don't really talk about price unless I have charts to actually back it up. I'm not pulling these things out of thin air. But people don't like sponsored content in crypto because there's a lot of haters there, and that's fine. So they get mad at that. And it's mostly dudes that get mad at that. And that's totally fine. You want to get mad at it, but don't come at me and tell me that I'm doing something wrong when I see you doing some other shady type of stuff with other paid services and your ref links and you're dumping on people and all that type of stuff. And that's fine. Like, I'm not here to come for anyone. I'm not here to say anything mean about anybody, but don't come for me unless you have a clean slate, because I'm out there and I'm very honest about what I do.
it's fair enough that, like, what industry doesn't advertise? That's all sponsored content is. It's paid advertisements. And the thing is, it doesn't make a project bad that somebody's repping it and promoting it. It's still up to anyone who's involved in crypto, who's involved in investing, to do your own research. And if somebody's shilling a project, it doesn't make it bad, but you still got to go and check into it yourself. So yeah, I don't get it when people naturally just go to like, that's a bad thing, this project must be a scam. On the flip side, there's a reason why, and it is because, they're rug pulling is a term for a reason, right? People have lost a lot of money because they have been scammed. And sadly, it's the scams that I think give people maybe promoting real good, genuine projects a bad name.
Well, the thing is the first time somebody got mad at me, they got mad at me for doing a 2-minute interview with a female founder of a project at an event, which I was not compensated for. I wasn't even compensated to do media at this event. I was first starting. I interviewed like 15 people. They were 2 to 3 minute interviews. And this project ended up not being a legitimate project. Plus it was a really pretty woman. When they do not like pretty women, they do not like women in the space. And it is what it is, but they got so mad at me and they're like, you're a scammer. I'm like, this isn't even sponsored. Like, I'm literally doing, like, CoinDesk covers all different types of content. So you're going to get mad at me for covering. I was literally doing media at an event. Like, if you guys go to an event and somebody wants to interview you, you're going to interview them. Like, that's your job. You do media. And I wasn't even paid for it. So I get that. And that's totally fine. But it's always the things I don't get paid for that people get mad at me, like projects that I'm actually invested in that I'll tweet about or I'll talk about. And I'm just like, come on, guys, come on. Yeah. So I get that argument too. But at the same time, like, I have horror stories of people, like, of me being scammed, of all different types of stuff, but it's on me. I was my decision to invest in that. I don't care that person X, Y, and Z was talking about it. I'm not going to come for them. I'm not going to get mad about it. I invested in it. I decided to bag hold. It was my choice.
Speaking of all these interviews and that kind of thing, I mean, you mentioned your background in the healthcare side of things. Was this something that was always kind of like a passion of yours or something you wanted to try out? Or like, are you, because you're very comfortable like with interviewing people and that kind of thing. Does it come naturally for you?
No, I hate being on camera. I don't even know why I have a YouTube channel sometimes. It's just very awkward for me. Now I'm used to it because I have over 800 videos, I think now, or 700. I don't remember, but I've got like 800 TikToks. But I do not like being on camera. I absolutely hate being on camera. But and I never wanted to. Like, I was always like seeing people on like the internet. I'm like, I can never do that. But then in crypto, I was kind of forced to do it because I started my channel because I was live streaming the events that I would have because I wanted people globally to be able to see like what we were doing. And then, then that was that. And I just kind of forced myself to do it.
And what's the long-term picture for your content? Like, I mean, is this something you hope to be doing for, the next decade or so? And how do you see it evolving?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I honestly have no idea. I mean, I make good money from what I do, but at the same time, I'd love to retire. Like, my dream is to retire, to move to the Central Coast, to have like a bed and breakfast, not like a bed and breakfast because I don't want to cook for anybody, but like have like a motel and have like a dive bar. I really, really, really want a dive bar. I grew up in Hollywood in my early days, and I love being around musicians. I hung around really, really amazing musicians, people that inspired some of the greats that you hear. And it was just, I love dive bars. I love being at dive bars. I love talking to people and meeting people, but not necessarily on camera.
And in LA there specifically, I mean, in the last 3 years that you've kind of been, or 4 years that you've been part of this, have you noticed, like, I always wonder, like, if you go up and ask 100 random people if they own Bitcoin or something along those lines, like, I don't know, maybe 5 or something like that will actually say yes. But are you getting the sense in LA that more and more people are becoming aware and using crypto?
In the nice neighborhoods, they are aware of it. But if you go to the hood and you ask somebody, they're gonna bang you up. They're not interested in it because the people, how I grew up in the lower middle class. We are just trying to focus, and I still classify myself as that because that's how I grew up. But they're just trying to pay their bills. Like, people in crypto have no idea about how the struggle of just living paycheck to paycheck is. All these people, a lot of them live at home with their mom and dads. They have no idea about that. So it depends what neighborhood you go into. Like, so I think there would be people that know about it. And I talk to the kids at the boxing gym about it, but there's not like a whole lot of people are excited about it because a lot of people are like hurting right now for money. Like, I'm sure they've heard about it, but no one is really interested in getting into crypto just because it's like, it's kind of a taboo concept to like put your money into that because it's not really tangible.
Speaking further to that, more related to your own friends and family and maybe the people who are in your circle who are aware of what you do and the fact that you promote cryptocurrency, have any of them got involved because of your involvement, and what do others maybe think of it?
Like my mom I was like telling my mom she should buy in, and my mom is very stubborn. Like my mom will literally do the opposite of what I like talk to her about. The same with my sisters too. Like my middle sister, she's very like protective of her privacy. She's like, she doesn't like to be online. She doesn't have any social medias. She thinks people that hang out on the internet are weird. Like she's very particular about that type of stuff. And my other sister wanted to learn, but she wanted me to do all the work for her. I was like, I'm not doing all the work for you. But my daughter has more Bitcoin probably than most people on crypto Twitter.
Really?
I liquidated her savings account when Bitcoin was $3,000 to $7,000, and I bought her a Bitcoin, and it is safely put away for her.
Awesome.
Nice,
That's such a cool story. Love it. Well, Wendy, this has been an awesome conversation. We like to end every episode of Show Me the Crypto with a 3-question segment called You Had Me at Crypto.
All right, Wendy, you ready?
Okay, let's try.
Who's your favorite person to follow in the crypto space?
Oh, in the crypto space? Oh my God. Actually, I have somebody. My favorite person to follow in the crypto space is probably ICO Offender. He goes by Yellow, and he is a memer. And he allows me to take his intros or his like video memes he makes and use them as my intros on my show. He makes the funniest stuff. My daughter loves all of the stuff that he makes. You guys make sure to follow ICO Offender. Absolutely freaking hilarious. Like he's came on my streams a couple times, like as a guest, and like has pulled different clips in his memes. I love memers. So he's probably my favorite person to follow.
That's awesome. What will the price of Bitcoin be 10 years from now?
Probably $1 million.
That's the popular answer. Yeah, that's the majority of people. They always say $1 million.
I don't know.
But people usually get it wrong. So if everybody's thinking $1 million, I'm hoping we're all wrong and it's 10 million or something like that.
To be honest, I don't care. I'm happy to be here. I don't care.
Yeah, fair enough. Along for the ride. What is the most underrated project or coin in crypto?
Ooh, underrated project or coin in crypto right now. Let me think. What is the most underrated project or coin in crypto? There's so many. I am so down the rabbit hole with so many of these different DeFi projects. I would just like to say DeFi as a whole. And the reason why I'm giving such a vague answer is because DeFi has such amazing capabilities. And I don't think people understand like how life-changing it is once we get out of this childhood phase, because we're in the really annoying teenager phase. When you're like 12 years old, you think you're cool, you think you're like doing big things, but you're really just a punk. We're in that phase right now. But I think once we mature and once we graduate college, like the next 10 years are going to be a game changer. And there's going to be the quality of life is going to be improved for so many people. And I don't think a lot of people in crypto really understand that. I don't think they understand how life-changing it is to have money, like have to convert your fiat to like USDC or to any other stable coin, keep it in an app like Celsius or crypto.com where you're earning like 3 to 20% interest depending on what cryptocurrency is when your bank account is only paying you 0.01%, or being able to take a loan out. If you're a small business, you can't take a loan out in California. Banks won't loan you. Most people take loans out because they're able to take loans out from like their friends and family. So to be able to take a loan out and not get rejected, I feel like it's going to breed for so many more entrepreneurs. But again, there's a lot of mess. It's a very, very messy industry right now. But I really think I'm just very excited for the future on DeFi as a whole.
Awesome. Well put. Well, Wendy, this has been a pleasure chatting to you. Thank you so much for being on this episode of Show Me the Crypto.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me. Bye, guys.
Thank you for listening to Show Me the Crypto. Please make sure to subscribe as well as rate and review this podcast.